you tell me what your best experience is here in the Farmington Community Center?
Well, playing basketball, I guess. That kept me in school after when I got to high school, and I enjoyed some of the subjects, but mostly recess, I guess, as most people say, it was my best subject.
Well, the game for the boys naturally was baseball, or what we call baseball. Lots of times if nobody had anything better to use, we had an old string ball that you wind up a bunch of tobacco twine, wind it up into a ball and soak it in a little water sometimes to make it a little hard. We played ball, or we had sometimes like a volleyball size that we played so-called dodgeball, where you put everybody in the circle and the ones outside throw the ball, try to hit somebody. Those are two favorite games that plays. And of course, the lower grades, they always had something called hopscotch. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay.
One thing I did, one of the guys thought a possum in a sack one time. And the principal's office was upstairs on the far end. So I slipped up the steps and dumped the possum out, closed the door, and left. Later on, one of the teachers carried one of the boys down. She had him by the ear, carried him down to the office. And when she opened the door, the possum, of course, he made a dash at the door. He screamed and jumped up and turned the boy loose. He never did have to go to the office after that.
What about dating back then?
Well, that's where you met a lot of your boyfriends. When you played in another school, you could meet somebody new. And a lot of people married local people then, more so than they do now.
We usually dated within the school group.
That's what I said.
Somebody would be dating somebody
You
at school.
had to have somebody with you.
Well, we had a lot of activities. We had 4-H club, and they would meet on Friday night and have games and so forth. And we had the music club, and they would present operettas and plays. And
Actually, our
and then the
early school
games.
days was during the Depression, so we had, we didn't have opportunities to do a lot of things that young folks do now.
Did any of you guys work while being in school at the same time?
Oh, we all did, or we did, because we lived on, everybody
Oh,
lived
we lived
on
on
the
the
farm.
farm back
We worked
then.
on the
We
farm.
had home chores we had to do.
I lived on a dairy farm, and I'd get up at about 5 o'clock every morning. My daddy would come call us. We'd go milk 4 or 5 cows. Then we'd get ready and take care of that milk and get it all fixed up and put in the ice box. Then we would walk about 3/4 mile out to the road to catch the bus. I remember that very well. Then in the afternoon, I'd go home and help milk, get ready, and walk back out to the neighbor's house for Mr. Madison to pick me up to go play basketball on Tuesday. That's how much I love basketball. On Tuesday and Fridays, we'd have basketball games.
She was very
you're
good.
still playing, aren't you?
You're still a
Still
senior-
shooting. I don't
senior
play. I
champion.
still shoot. We did not have running water. We had a little pump right back here behind us down on and it was a hand pump, and you pumped that, and it had a little trough with a little iron pipe that went down through that, about 10 or 12 feet long. And about every foot there was a hole drilled in that pipe. The water would come up in spurts. Someone would stand up here and pump the pump, and the water would come up, and people, you had to line up to get your water. You would line up and everybody go by and drink out of that. And we had outside bathrooms, and Billy Brock may tell you a story about that, but all I remember is the smell. It certainly.
And you guys would come down here to the schoolhouse and climb up on that water tank to get those icicles down for Cash James. And Gene climbed the water tank one day, and the icicle slid across his hands, and he almost fell off of it. It happened that the icicle huge thing went on down the pipe. So anyway, he bundled those hands up for a while after that.
You had to buy your own books. And one thing we would do, so like you were in the 5th grade going into the 6th, you would find some fifth grader who needed books and you took care of your books. And you'd find some fifth grader who needed books, you'd sell that person your fifth grade books and take that money and buy your sixth grade books.
So it's kind of you have to trade to get some of the school supplies, right?
I don't remember even in high school the state furnishing. I think we still had to furnish our own books.
So it was really an independent school.
Well, you had to, see, it was during the Depression, the real Great Depression in the 30s. And the state was like everybody else, it didn't have much money either.
Man, I can't imagine, because I think a lot of people take for granted now how, like, the school supplies we have now in comparison to back then, where you had to fight for simple stuff like a pencil or
and you learn not to waste. And with that, buying your own books, you got a business lesson. You learn to how to sell your books to get enough money to buy yours for the next year. I think the Depression was not all bad. It taught us the value of things. And we had a saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. So you did without if you wasted things. And we didn't have people that wasted like they do now. I started the school, I think there was about 20-some members in the class. I'd say about 25 or 6. And when I graduated, we only had 13. And there was only about 6 or 7 of us who had went all the way school together. We picked up some who had fallen behind and some had moved in and things like that. But when our graduating class was 13 members. And that was in 1939, May the 16th. And I have a picture of us, you know, our graduating class. And I'm very glad that I did finish school.
That the teachers live in the community, all of them did. And we had a place down here called Ken & Crest that they stayed, the single teacher stayed with her, or up at the Botson home. They had places they stayed there. And the principal lived right across, at our time, lived right over there, he and his wife. So they just mixed in our homes as well as being a teachers. We saw them weekends.
Part of our lives.
They were part of our lives, and we were taught to respect our teachers. And I think that's why we learn more, maybe.
They went to the church.
They went to church.
Oh, Sunday school.
They were just the part of the community. So I think that.
And it's a close-knit community.
John Caudle.
Sally James.
Wee Brock.
Anita Harding.
Bill Brock.
Hollis Pilcher Smith.
And are all of you guys classmates?
No,
4 of us.
these
are.
4.
4 of us.
2 on
We're
each
the
side
old
of me.
timers.
I'm the young one in the group.
we all graduated in
ancient.
the same
We're
class.
12 years older than you, aren't we?
Same class, 1943.
3. That's I can remember. That's about it.
Been a long time.